In fact, today is my great honor and pleasure to introduce my friend George Allen. George has served the Commonwealth of Virginia for over 20 years as governor, as a member of both houses in the U.S. Congress, and as the delegate from Thomas Jefferson's seat in Charlottesville. George was sworn in as governor in 1994, and I had the pleasure of being co-chairman of the Victory Campaign back in 93.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how I felt on that day in 94. And George carried forth with a wonderful reform agenda for the Commonwealth, and many of the things that George championed are still in effect and having a positive effect in Virginia today. And he's continued that reform agenda throughout his career up until now, when he is the chairman of American Energy Freedom Project, George Allen Strategies, works giving speeches around the country for the Young Americans for Freedom. In short, George Allen is our kind of guy. He's our friend. He's our friend, and he's the one that reminds us to always stand tall for freedom. George Allen.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Hager, ladies and gentlemen, patriots all, good afternoon. I don't know. Yell louder, Michael. You're not going to let a little rain or boy. All right, we'll cut off the other one. All right, let's try it again. Ladies and gentlemen, patriots all, good afternoon. Well, it was a little rainy, a little cloudy, but the sun's shining bright on our old Virginia home here at the Shad planking, and everything's working out just fine. And it's great to see so many longtime friends. And the other great thing about the Shad planking is not only do you have a reunion with a lot of good folks, you also make a lot of new good friends at the Shad planking as well. And it's great to be with you at the 62nd Shad planking. Mr. Yates, who's 107 years young, I did a quick calculation. At the first one, he was 45 years old. I asked him, I saw him drinking a Coke there. And I said, "Do you drink that every day?" He said, "No, they just gave that to me." I said, "What do you drink?" And his daughter said, just one glass of bourbon every day. And I said, "Oh, goodness, the Virginia gentlemen people are going to get you an ad." It is great to be with the Ruraltowns and each and every one of all the district presidents, national past chairmen, presidents, President Winchell, and all of y'all just do such a fantastic job here in this community. You're the essence of caring community leaders. You see needs here in this community, you address them, you raise money for them, and whether it's here or also, I remember being with you all with the Freedoms Foundation up at the Valley Forge Grove for all the Medal of Honor winners. The Ruraltowns truly are outstanding leaders for this community, this region, and wherever the Ruraltowns are, they are a positive impact on the people in their communities. And we thank and we salute all the Ruraltowns for all your outstanding work. Folks about, Lieutenant Governor Hager is talking about the different things that I may be doing these days, and folks say, "Well, you're out of office, you don't get any honors." I said, "Well, no, that's not really true." I think it's a great honor to be asked to speak at the Shad planking, and in fact, it's a fantastic honor. In fact, it's the most important, biggest honor I've received since just a few months ago. I was in Lancaster County at a Reagan Day dinner, and a nice couple came up to me and said, "We like you so much, we named our dog after you." So I said, "Well, does the dog behave?" They said, "Yeah, it's housebroke." I said, "Good, perfect," and so forth. But I actually, Chairman Bain, when he asked me, and Bain rhymes with rain, obviously, today, but he asked me to speak here, and I know really why Chairman Bain and the Ruraltowns asked me to speak here this year, is they wanted to make sure that they were on YouTube. So slow understanding of that. Some get it quicker. At any rate, Folks, this is an important day in history. On this very day in history, on April 21st in 1836, a Virginia-born leader, Sam Houston, led the Texas militia in a surprise attack on Mexico's general Santa Anna at San Jacinto, and they beat him. And they won in Texas. Texas's independence was assured by it. Now, Shad Plankers, we need to make history right here and now, today. And we see people all across Virginia and across our country upset with Democrats, they're upset with Republicans. We see the growth of this Tea Party movement. Folks are riled, stirred, and dismayed with a disconnected, out-of-touch, and burdensome government that doesn't reflect our values nor our priorities. Our government actually seems to be against us, with more taxes, restricting the energy we use, the health care we want, and loading us with unprecedented debt. Now we, the people, under these pine trees, should audaciously declare and form a new party. Let's call it the Shad Planking Party. And these days, people from all parties, all views, all backgrounds come from all over Virginia here to Wakefield for this growing, improved, and diverse, inclusive event where people actually face-to-face, eye-to-eye, get to talk with one another about their views and their concerns and their ideas. And it's really people being here with one another, eating, drinking, and mostly being merry. That's the way parties ought to be. That is why the Shad Planking is the preeminent bipartisan event here in Virginia, and that's the way political discussions ought to be. Now, America is always reinventing itself, and Virginia has historically been the leading inventor. So let's lead now by reaching out and welcoming all people who pay taxes, work for a living, care about their families and their communities. Let's organize a new, positive, inclusive, Shad Planking political party around 4 planks of our platform, and they'll be easy to remember. And it's important to have things easy to remember at the Shad Planking for folks after they leave. And some have designated drivers and all the rest with them. At any rate, it'll be easy to remember the planks. We talk about Shad Planks, we're going to have planks of our platform. And they are all associated with the word Shad, S-H-A-D. And they'll be the Shad Planks. S. The S in our party plank connotes the first essential plank. Smile. Smile. The essence of Shad Planking is good cheerfulness, camaraderie, and people sharing positive ideas, listening to diverse views, but always finding a way to enjoy life and have fun. And as long as we're not harming someone else, we don't think there ought to be restrictions or limits on what we do. We oppose meddling restrictions and annoying limits on our God-given rights to life, liberty, and yes, the pursuit of happiness. That's what Shad Plankers believe in. We feel that when fun is outlawed, only outlaws will have fun. So smile when advocating our ideals. The H. The H stands for help. Voluntarily helping others. The Ruritans use all the proceeds from this Shad Planking, this annual event, to help the volunteer fire and rescue squads, the scholarships, the Little Leagues, all the things that Mike Winchell was talking about. And the smiling Shad Plankers like to find logical, effective ways to improve lives, make them better with individual empowerment through quality education and safe communities. Indeed, I think we as Shad Plankers believe that the best social program is a job. All right, the A. The A. What do y'all think the A should stand for? No, not America. Right. Somebody said alcohol. No. America. America. The Shad Planking draws together all American men and women. And we support and admire our men and women in our armed forces serving us here at home and abroad. We support and admire our law enforcement, firefighters, and rescue squads. That's all Americans. And we also want America and Virginia to be ascending and competitive internationally. So we advocate tax, regulatory, educational, and energy policies which help our fellow Virginians and Americans compete and succeed in life. And the people around here in this region know how important jobs are to this community and our community. There clearly had to be a number of factors, including global competition, that led International Paper to make the hard decision they made to close the Franklin Mill. However, it's fair to say that this mill and other paper mills, and indeed many other manufacturers across our country, are being increasingly burdened by high energy and regulatory costs that, if not constructively addressed, will create the real potential for similar adverse decisions. For example, my friends, as far as energy is concerned, we are flat sick and tired of getting jerked around by oil-rich, hostile dictators, oligarchs, and cartels. We are number one in the world in energy resources, thanks to our plentiful coal as well as our oil and gas reserves. While the pontificating elites may say this, it's not true. We, as Americans, are not addicted to oil. Americans are addicted to freedom. The freedom and independence to move where and when we want, and we believe we ought to keep that freedom and independence.